Hey guys, in this video we'll be continuing with the C# tutorials. So in this video we'll be going over the save file dialog control. So the save file dialog is similar to the open, what do we call it? What is it called? I think it's called the open file dialog. It's called an open file dialog. That's what we just went over in the last video, so if you're interested in that, or you can start from the beginning of the playlist. That'll be in the C# playlist on my channel, Code Invest. So this is the save file dialog control. So we just have some notes here on the screen. So we have the save file dialog control. So it displays a standard Windows save file dialog box. If you don't know what I'm talking about, if you've ever used Microsoft Word or some kind of, maybe even on a Mac, you try to save a, let's say you're writing an essay or something, and you want to save your file, so you click the save button. Then that kind of window pops up, and it's like choose your directory or choose your folder that you want to save in. So like you'll select your documents, and you'll type in a name, like whatever it is, homework assignment 1 or whatever. Then you'll hit save. You'll click the button save, and then the box will disappear. So that's what it is. If I didn't mention that in the last video, I just assumed that you guys knew what it was. So you can just open a file. If I didn't mention it, it's like if you click open, the same thing pops up. You can choose like a folder or a directory to open a file from. That's what it is. So there's like save as and save and all that. So this is the Windows version of that. So it's a Microsoft, you're coding a Microsoft save file dialog for a Windows PC. That's what you're doing here. Okay, so we have, so what we can do here is just do some notes. So to call the dialog here, we just say this. Save file dot show dialog. Okay, so that just calls the controls show dialog method. So basically you can just, like the way we're doing it for now is, because we haven't instantiated those kind of objects yet, I guess. So basically what happens is you just create the control in the design window, you just kind of drag and drop. You'll see the control go to your component tray at the bottom. Then in your identifier name, you can choose the identifier name, such as, I think in this case I called it save file. In that case, we just call save file.show dialog, and that's pretty much it. So that makes the box pop up. That makes the dialog box pop up on the window. So for example, you could have a button on your form that says save. When you click the save button, the button pops. The save dialog box pops up. Okay, so now we'll move on to some of the ways you can work with it. So same as before. So the method returns a value indicating whether the user clicked the save button or the cancel button to dismiss the save as dialog box. So it's like a constant value or an enum. So an enum, we haven't talked about that. That's basically just about pretty much An enum is like a group. It's like basically a const, like a type, but it's like a constant. We'll talk about that later on. Like the exact definition of it. I don't use it all the time. The place where I really use them actually is making trading bots. So MQL5, which is a framework of C++, they use a lot of enums, such as like time frame or they have like candle close, candle open, candle high, candle low. I think those are all enums. So I think there might be some enums in C#, which we'll probably talk about later on, if there is any. I think there might be, I kind of forgot. So when we get there, don't worry, I'll post all that. So here we have, we'll say if save file dot show dialog points to dialog result dot OK. So we'll just have an example here. So if save file dot show dialog points to dialog result dot OK. So basically this exactly the same as before. It still calls dialog result. I think that's what we have up here. It's dialog result, so it's exactly the same thing. So here we'll just say okay, message box dot show. We want to show you click the save button. Else we'll say message box dot show. We'll say you click the cancel button. And that's it. There's a file name property just as the open file dialog. So let's do an example on that as well. Just make this bigger here. So we can see, we can say here, I don't know when this video is going to be up. By the time I post it, it'll be up. Well, it depends. If I do one every day, it'll be about a month before I post it. I'm trying to do. The thing is, I have a lot of languages still to upload, so it could be a month or two before it actually gets out there. I think at this point I have like 50 videos already to upload. So if I try to do one every day, unless I'm doing multiple all day, which I don't have time to do, I have to like actually make time to upload the video. So I'll try to get those out as soon as possible. So here, let's just say we have a StreamWriter object. So a StreamWriter, let's say output file. StreamWriter output file object reference variable, and here we'll say if save file dot show dialog points to dialog result dot OK. Channel's just starting to pick up now. I know it's still small, but it's starting to get more subscribers, so I appreciate that. Support the channel. If the channel's more supported, the more I'd want to get the videos out. If it's not that many people watching it, then it's kind of pointless to upload them fast. But I have seen an uptick in subscribers lately. Alright, so we have, if save file dot show dialog points to dialog result dot OK. That should have a closing parentheses on that. Then here we'll say output file points to file dot create text. Here we'll call save file.file name. That's just one word, okay, file name. So what were we doing here? So we were demonstrating the file name property. So we said output file points to file.createText. We're saying, okay, well, create the text, save file.file name. So when the user specifies a location and file name with a save as dialog box, the file's path and file name are stored in the controls file name property. Okay, so when the user specifies a location and file name with the save as dialog box, the file's path and file name are stored in the controls file name property. Okay, so that's fine. Okay, so I guess file name is like the actual file name. I think they just called it file name. Okay, so what's happening here is that when I believe this is what's happening. We're going to do this in the lab to demonstrate. I'll probably have to get that OBS Studio recording software up so I can get the actual click of the pop-up windows and stuff. But basically what's going to happen, I think, is that when the user clicks OK in the save dialog box right there, so they're like save file, then you click. So if they basically click OK or save file, I believe, then we're going to take this file object reference variable and point it to file.createText. So it's going to create a text. Basically, when you save something, you create a new text, right? Let's just assume that in this case it's a text. I believe you might be able to select what type of file extension you want. Let's just say it's a .txt. So you can say, or .doc, whatever. So you can, or docx, whatever it is. But basically you can just, what's going to happen is that file is going to be created and it's going to save the file. The dialog box will save the file to, so you have to call save file dot file name. So I believe you can point file name to the actual path, so you could go like file name. We'll do an example of this, but what I'm guessing is that they're saying file name points to, like, you could say like what we had before, C# file .txt. Whoops, what happened there? So there's that. Or you could actually have a Windows path, like, I think it's like, I think maybe you just need the path in that case. You might want to put this at the front. You can always try, but just like C//users/ whatever, the path. You know what I mean? The full path that we've done several times. I think you could do that, or you could just maybe just call with the @ there and tag it on with a string. One of those should work, so we'll do that in the lab coming up sometime soon here. So that should be fine. What else we have actually? So else. We don't really need the else. We could here. We could just add it, I guess. So else. We could say message box dot show like operation cancelled or whatever. So the initial directory property. So I think we talked about this earlier on with the open file dialog box. So it's the same thing in both boxes basically, I think. So by default, the save as dialog box displays the contents of the user's documents directory. Okay, so I think it's what you can see or what kind of directory pops up first on the actual save dialog box. So you can change that initial directory to something else. Oh, I think I know what you could do here. You could say save file. Yeah, this is what I think what you could do here. Where did I say that? Somewhere here. Okay, so I think you can go here, save file dot file name points to this. You might not need that @ symbol because I don't think they put the @ symbol here. But here you can put the path, such as C / users, whatever, /s, so on, so on. Know what I mean? They have this as the example. Let's just say you want to do that. Then here you could pass in. You could pass that in, or whatever you want. So that's what they did here, I think. Because let's just, if I show you guys this example, this is example 3. So what they did is they said save file dot, because file name is a property, so basically it's a method. You can think of it like a method if that's not what they actually call it, but here we're saying save file dot initial directory points to C. I guess there's no @ symbol here. Data. Well, they have just one. I think you can do 1 or 2. I like 2, but 1 seems to work here. 1 backslash, or I think that's a /. So they call that method, or well, they call it a property first. They point it to the path. This is the dialog box that they're calling save file. I think that's the identifier name of the dialog box. Then here we say if save file dot show dialog points to dialog result dot OK. Then do something whatever you want. Otherwise do something whatever the false case is. Right, so that's pretty much it. Nothing too complicated. The title property, as we mentioned, there's also a title property. I'm sorry, I just hit the mic with my hand. Okay, so the title property, by default, the words save as are displayed in a save as dialog box's title bar. So you can change that with the title property. So I assume you could just go save file dot title points to whatever at some point. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. In the next chapter we'll be getting into methods, I think before we get into objects. So that'll be good. Alright, so that'll probably be, actually there's no lab for now. I think there might be maybe a lab later on. So don't worry about that. That's pretty simple to use either way. I might have an assignment with that lab in it, so I'll try to provide that soon. So here we have, we have completed the save file dialog and the open file dialog boxes. It's a little bit advanced, but hopefully we'll continue to work with those in the future. So thanks for watching, guys. If you liked the video, you can like and subscribe to the channel to support the channel, to see more programming and investing tutorials. In the next video, we'll be going over random numbers quickly, because sometimes you need those to do things. Which is pretty easy. Then we'll go over the load event, and then we'll be done moving on to methods. So thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.